Welcome back, friends, to another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video. Lids87 here, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about Barret Wallace to see how worthy he is of your tickets and or gems. I mean, if you're a Final Fantasy VII fan, you should be going after this guy. Before I do get into it though, friends, please remember to hit that like and subscribe button. Now, Barret is going to be making a comeback with a rework and a brand new LD weapon. In Opera Omnia, Barret is a ranged support type unit. Now, when it comes to using Barret himself, he is not complicated to use. You press buttons, get stacks of his buffs, you're done. With his rework, he will be seeing changes, of course, to his skill 1, Big Shot, which is now going to have HP slash by 80%, and that stackable buff is going to be seeing some improvements. Upon using his skill 1, Big Shot, he will grant the party a generic physical attack up for 8 turns by 25%. Unfortunately, magic type units cannot benefit from this buff, as physical is primarily ranged and melee. That stackable buff I mentioned is called Avalanche for 8 turns that he grants himself, max stacks being at 5. Now, there are 2 primary ways to gain stacks of this, assuming he's fully maxed out with his EX weapon. Upon the quest start, he will gain 2 stacks, and he will gain 3 stacks upon using his second ability, Grenade Bomb. So literally on his very first turn, use his second ability, you will be at max stacks. Now, what this is going to do for Barret and the party, this is going to drastically increase Barret's attack and max brave by 90%, and this will also increase the allies' attack and max brave by 40%. With his Crystal level 50 passive, there will be a higher potency by 50% to this buff, and with this Crystal 50 passive artifact passives, if you have 3 of them, this will further be boosted by 15%, so you definitely want to grab all 3. With his EX ability, Satellite Beam, he will grant himself a buff called Satellite for 6 turns that is going to increase his critical hit rate by 100%. And every time Barret does an HP attack, he will do a follow-up, or at least the last HP attack, okay? He will do a follow-up called Beam. It's just going to do damage and then Brave heal Barret based off of HP damage dealt. So pretty much protecting Barret from breaks, depending on how hard the enemy hits. Now, with his new LD weapon, his LD ability, Maximum Fury, Anger Max, he's going to have 3 uses of this. This is going to do a one-hit ranged AoE Brave plus single target HP attack executed 7 times. HP attacks after the first one are distributed, I can't talk right now, against the enemies. Now, this will also grant him a new stackable buff called Rage of Shinra. Barret absolutely despises Shinra. Alright, just throwing that out there. Now, what Rage of Shinra is going to be doing, it's a 12-turn buff, max stacks being at 3. Keep in mind that if for some reason you get dispelled or you lose track of time and the turn duration runs out, you will not lose those stacks. For example, let's say you're 1 stack, alright, you get dispelled, you use Maximum Fury, you will now be at 2 stacks. So just something to keep in mind. Now, what this is going to do for Barret, this is going to increase Barret's own Brave damage by up to 60%. This will also increase his HP damage up by up to 30%. Not bad overall. For the allies, they will also benefit from this. This will increase their Brave damage up by up to 30%. Those are some nice numbers. And their HP damage up by 15%, while also increasing the allies' critical hit rate by 100%. When Rage of Shinra is at 3 stacks, Barret's own Brave will not drop below 10% of max Brave. With his LD boards, when the quest starts, he will grant himself 1 stack of Rage of Shinra for 6 turns. So use his LD ability right off the bat. You're at 2 stacks following turn. You can use either his second ability or use his LD ability again if you want to be at max stacks of Rage of Shinra. There are also going to be changes to Maximum Fury with his LD boards. Will now be executed 10 times at a higher Brave potency. And all the HP attacks except the last one, there is going to be Brave healing by 10% of HP damage dealt. Now, with his call actions, Grenade Bomb Call, there's going to be a 6-turn caller effect that is going to increase the party's attack and max Brave by 20%. With his Maximum Fury Call, there is a 3-turn caller effect that is going to increase the party's critical hit rate by 100%, while also increasing the party's Brave damage up by 20%. So if you are seriously lacking in ways to increase your party's Brave damage with call actions, then I mean Barret's LD call action might not be a bad idea to throw onto your team composition. Now, before I start talking about Barret's worthiness, I do want to throw out this message up until we are in the Lufenia Plus era, is that we are going to be doing a harsher version of my worthy meter. So this is the How Worthy Plus. I'm doing that because we are pretty much less than a month away from the Lufenia Plus era. We are inching ever so closer to it. And due to that, ideally, we want to be looking for units that are either A, going to be making a massive comeback with their crystal level 90, or could be useful during the Lufenia Plus start. All right, friends? That being said, a lot of these units are good going forward. Right now, with the proper team composition, they will stop pretty much any content. Due to that, I am going to be harsher on a lot of these units, but just remember, friends, at the end of the day, it is your gems, your tickets, your stash. Always go for your favorite characters to better enjoy the game. Now, there is not going to be a free multi-draw on this banner, so Barret fans, you're going to have to start from zero. All right, no free 20 G tokens. When it comes to Barret's worthiness on my How Worthy Plus worth meter, I'm going to put him at somewhat worthy of your resources. Now let's take a step back. Barret has some nice stat increases for your party. So he himself 90% attack and max brave. Awesome. Allies 40% attack and max brave. Sure, on top of a 25% physical attack up. Magic units don't benefit from that, so that's already a con right there. With this LD, ow, I just hit my elbow. With this LD ability, he does have some nice brave damage up for himself and your allies. The issue is with this is that you do have to build it up. Now, he does grant himself one stack at the start of the quest. Following turn, you have to spam an LD abilities to gain another stack, and you can either wait or use his LD ability again just to be at max stacks. There are other units like, for example, Paladin Cecil or Una, although there are some conditions to be met, can get these brave damage up auras right off the bat without having to spam their LD abilities. Now, I'm putting Barret at somewhat worthy of your resources because although his brave damage up auras, they're good, I do feel like there are units that could better fit the slots of your team compositions in the Lufenia Plus era. All right, so you just heard me mention that Una, Paladin Cecil, right? Use their LD ability once, you got auras, you're good to go. Una also has the benefits that she's a burst character, and she can also massively brave heal your party members and HP heal your party members. All right, so you got a few things built into one unit compared to Barret, who is primarily a support type character with aura increases. Paladin Cecil, almost the same thing as Una, right? He has the capabilities to brave heal your party members, HP heal your party members. He is also a burst character, but Paladin Cecil, aside also from increasing your party's defenses and to increase survivability, he can enhance your party members with Holy while also inflicting Holy Resist down, just further increasing your party's damage. Then you have other units that can inflict some form of like defense down, which is also, I would say, crucial or very useful at the start of the Lufenia Plus era. I mean, sure, you could bring call actions, but there are units that you could just shove in there that can do that. For example, like Porum. Or just shove someone like Setzer on your team composition so your allies, that doesn't matter how much brave damage they do with their potencies, they can automatically hit that maximum brave damage, aka Rainbow. All right, friends, so that's why I do believe that he is somewhat worthy of your resources. I'm sure with a little bit of experimenting, which is what I'm going to try, you can make him work with the proper team compositions, but I would rather, especially if you're a newer player and you have some of these more recent units, I would rather you run them on your team comp instead of Barret. Now, mind you, I love Barret, all right? So I'm going to leave him at somewhat worthy. Now, if you are a little bit of a planner, right? Because on this banner, it's going to be Barret's LD with Yang reran LD weapon. So if you have Yang already, you don't necessarily have to chase on this banner. You could wait for Barret on one of the repeating banners later down the line. He's going to be making a comeback with Kane's LD weapon, which I think is the ideal spot to get Barret with Kane LD. And he does make another comeback alongside when Ramza gets his Burst Plus. And Ramza's LD weapon will be refeaturing, and Trey will be on there with his LD weapon. Unfortunately, Barret has yet to receive a Crystal level 90. Now, I have been saying in my past few videos that I do foresee a new gacha weapon being introduced into the game relatively soon, possibly at the end of September or October. So if that is the case, will Barret get another gacha weapon later down the line? We'll have to wait and see. But if you're a hardcore planner, maybe I will say wait also, because if he does get introduced to a new weapon at some point and his LD weapon is on there, maybe that's a better spot to pull for Barret's LD weapon. All right, friends, just throwing some thoughts, just throwing some possible options for you guys. All right, friends, so again, at the end of the day, on my How Worthy meter plus, Barret is somewhat worthy of your resources. All right, so that is it for this video, friends. I want to thank you guys for watching my How Worthy Plus covering Barret. Be sure to let me know down below in the comments your overall thoughts about Barret and if you are going to be going after him. Me personally, I am going to be going for Barret. Now, I know originally I was going to skip this banner to go for Kane's LD banner to get Barret there, but Kane is supposed to be a burst character at some point, so I'd rather wait to pull Kane for his LD weapon when he gets his burst weapon, so that means I could get Barret now instead of later, especially because I don't have Yang. And I will also be experimenting with Barret once Lufenia Plus arrives, because I do believe, this is all about team compositions. If you could put him on the proper team composition, I do believe he should be fine. But like I keep saying, I do feel like other units can fill that slot better. All right, friends, so I'm going to be going in with gems. I don't have units burst weapon yet, so this is the ideal banner for me to chase after Barret with gems. All right, friends, so again, all your wonderful thoughts down below. And until next time, friends, good luck and have a good one.